giving you a voice,
making it loud our own way.
Welcome to the fun.
I do want to move on, of course, to after the match ends. For hopefully most of you seen this, and I think what many of you are here for is what happened afterwards. So I'm going to play a little clip here, and just a heads up, hosts, we're not going to be able to hear it, but so it's just going to be a little dead silence for us for about 30 seconds or so. But I do want to play this clip with volume on, so everybody can hear kind of what this call was. So take a listen, and let's discuss it after.
Just been informed that the referees have read the rules more closely and have decided to reverse the outcome of that match.
Apparently, if you do two robots forming a blockade and they both get a yellow card, the combination of two yellow cards against an alliance is a red card, which is an automatic loss for the match. We apologize for the confusion. We're worse than the Oscars. We're gonna need our finalists to come claim their hardware again.
All right, so interesting scenario and experience that came out. I don't know if I've ever seen anything truly like something like that, right? That's straight up like, I think somebody described, I don't know who said it on there, but truly like the Miss Universe pageant a bit, where it's like, hey, we gave it to somebody, and then besides the fact afterwards, we decided that the ruling changed. So a couple things I'd like to hear about everybody's reaction to this is, well, Kevin, we saw your reaction essentially as going through the line, but really two things come up in my mind here is one, and this is not, by the way, meant to really attack the referee made decision or even the Chezy Champs planning committee, because we're at this point where, you know, it's a lot of excitement going on. Decisions are made sometimes poorly, but we need to discuss that and talk about it. Have there been any decision reversal, regardless really what happened after awards are handed out? Like, should that have happened in the first place? And then the second thing would be was the right call made? Now, I do want to read a quick statement that Chezy Champs released the teams about the final. So I'm going to read this off verbatim. On behalf of the Chezy Champs, I want to take a moment to apologize for how the final moments of the tournament were handled. We made a mistake in presenting a score and awards without taking the necessary time to ensure the call was correct. While we firmly believe the final call was consistent with the 2018 rules, we deeply regret the confusing situation that this caused for all the participating teams in the finals matches. So Paul, I'm gonna start with you, if you don't mind. Let's talk about this afterwards. You mentioned, you know, you guys were already in the pit. You get called back out. What's kind of going through your guys' mind at that time?
Well, I mean, I just heard, like, I was late to the party because it was just some commotion, and they said, oh, they reversed it. I'm like, reversed what? We won. I'm like, we what? And so I walked out, and then I saw a couple of my kids with a banner, and they were going crazy like they just won a world championship. So I really didn't, I just kind of like put my head down and was just like, oh man, this is like not good. So I grabbed the entire team, brought them in the pit, and I'm like, look, that is not the right way to behave. I mean, it wasn't bad, but for me, it was like, that's already a really crappy situation for everyone involved. So it's like, this is one of those things where, you know, the kids that have been around a while and all the mentors, they don't want to win a tournament that way. But you know, these kids are excited when they win. They're kids. And so my thing was just like, I feel bad for everyone involved. And I can see where the guys running Chezy Champs are all 254 people. So if they're going to err, they're going to err on the side against their own team, like 99 times out of 100. The rule, the two rules, G12 and T03 that are involved are shady, man. They're just really poorly worded when taken in conjunction. And so, what it came down to is they're like, look, Paul, because I asked them, like, why'd you guys reverse? Like, we were fine. And they're like, look, when you look in FMS and in a qual match, when a blockade is given, all three teams get a yellow card. That's like a fact. And so, which is different than when one team does something stupid like the airship thing, only one team got the yellow card. So their logic was, look, T03 is clear. If there's more than one yellow card on the team, like more than one team gets a yellow card, it's a red card. And so that's why they believe it's real, And so on Chief, you can see the split. I just think it's a shitty rule that needs to be changed. And I also think that, all I can say is I would have been fine we were fine as finalists. My kids had an amazing time. It wasn't about winning that event. I even told them if we were number 1 seed, I would like to not pick 254 just to play against them because it would be fun. Yeah. And so, I don't know really what to say, but I feel bad for, all the kids, on 254, 1678, 649, and I forgot who your guys' fourth partner was, but I feel bad for all of them. But the guys running Chezy Champs, anyone who runs an event knows it's hard to do. So I don't know, just a crappy situation all around.
Kevin, take us through. Obviously, you went kind of through a situation that nobody wants to go through. That you have a banner in your hand and you have to give it back, right? So you hear the announcement. I'm going to be honest with you. When I first heard it, I thought somebody was playing you at first, right? Like I was totally like, oh, this is just some weird ass joke that they're playing, and they're just going to go that route. So take us through that, and then kind of some of on 254, like Paul said, it's an awkward situation for all. So just give us kind of some of your reactions and some of the posts to that as well.
Yeah, I mean, can kind of see my reaction. I don't know. I was very tired at that point, so I was not really paying attention to anything. So when it kind of comes through, it's just like, oh, I should probably give this back to the rest so they can give it to the winners. But for me, I've been in first since I've competed since I was in middle school in first, so that's been a really long time. I've seen much worse things happen. I mean, there's obviously never been a reversal, but I felt like at the end of the day, it's Chezy Champs. It's an off season. There's no real consequences, but I've seen much crappier things happen at real events. So this didn't really faze me, but for the students, obviously it was very difficult. Some of them, this was their first event. They didn't really know what was going on. So because we have a lot of freshmen on the team, so they were confused, a little angry for probably the first couple minutes, just when they were processing it. But after things settled down, after 10 or so minutes, we were all fine in terms of the kids are all calm and all that.
Yeah.
Wasn't too bad for us either, because like you saw, it was we only 4 of us even went up for the awards. Wasn't too bad. The really cool thing was 1678's reaction was incredibly mature for the what happened. Their whole team went up. They had all the trophies and all the banners, and they took it extremely well. It was super cool to see that. We hate for anything to cause bad feelings between such good friends as 1678, and they took it completely in stride, and it was really cool to see one of the premier California teams, one of the most inspirational California teams, continue to provide that kind of inspirational thing even in a really bad situation for them.
Absolutely. So I just want to do a quick roundtable here and just get opinions. And obviously, the Chezy Champs has released their statement that this call will stand, and that's the way it is. Number 2 Alliance is the winner of Chezy Champs. But PJ, as a referee, I do want to start with you in regards to the interpretation of G12. Should every member of the Alliance have received a yellow, or is it one yellow for the entire Alliance?
I've looked it over. I've read the arguments both ways, and my thing is people keep bringing up the FMS argument, because what happens is in qual from somebody who's stood behind who stands behind who's stood behind a head ref panel before. When you're gonna put in a card, it pops up and you press the team number that's gonna get the card, and you press it twice for a red card, and so in quals for you to give a yellow card to the Alliance, you would have to press each one. And this is where people start getting confused. And then in eliminations, it's a different screen on the FMS. You just have to press, basically you're just pressing Alliance gets a yellow card. So it only assigns the one. From what I've done, at least. So I just to clarify what the FMS or what the head ref panel looks like, because I know some people are well, you have to press all of them, so it adds up to 3 yellow cards. That's just because of the way the system is set up. Because this is the only rule that applies to, they're not going to make a special button for a blockade rule, so you only have to press one button. And in every interpretation that I read, and in my heart of hearts, I guess, I do not see why this would result in 3 yellow cards given or 4 yellow cards given. And somebody was trying to argue there should be 4 yellow cards. But anyway, so I do not, in every part of me, I do not see. It's yellow card for the Alliance. The Alliance is one unit. At that point, it's referring to the Alliance as a unit, as a single entity. It's a yellow card for that entity. Whether that's how it should be or not is another discussion. Because we were talking before the show a little about how in Finals 3 that basically gives you a pass to blockade because there's no repercussions, which is a discussion for different time. But so in every interpretation of my reading, I think it should have been 1 yellow card.
Paul, I'll just kind of go around the horn here. Paul, any thoughts you want to add past on what you've already said?
No, I mean, I can see PJ's, like, his take is right on. The rule needs to be updated. From a game design standpoint, a blockade needs to be a DQ, and then people won't do it anymore.
Awesome. Kevin, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, touching on what Paul said, I mean, I didn't even know how bad this rule was until I read it after the fact. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me in quals, it doesn't make any sense. Why punish a third team if 2 teams are blockading? Why does the third team just get a yellow card? It doesn't make anyone feel good during the match because there's no actual consequence in either quals or in elims. There's no point value assigned to it, which seems really weird for such a crazy match-affecting strategy that you could pull off. Yeah, I'm just really unhappy with the rule in general. As far as should have been a DQ according to the rules or not, I don't really know. Still don't really know. Don't really plan on looking at it any further. But
well said.
the actual blockade rule really needs an update.
I said, it's been the same for the last 8 years. It's literally
Well, I think this is one of the few games that it actually comes into effect. Like 2014. If 3 robots were blockading, that's the only way to actually blockade that field. Everyone would see it. It's super obvious. It's really hard to actually blockade except for the past 2 years. And even with the airships, wasn't as bad. Whereas this year it was really, really easy. Everyone built really big robots this year. As opposed to last year when a lot of gear runners were undersized. Like everyone built max size robots, and it's a very crowded field.
Thank you to all of our co-executive producers, keeping fun loud, live, and independent. Pledge your support. Go to patreon.com/funfrc.